Okay, so you've given us this fascinating collection of sources today. We're talking about two, well, monumental sea fortresses of the Maratha Empire, Vijaydurg and Sindhudurg. Our mission, really, is to navigate these historical waters together, figure out the strategic brilliance, the true significance of these incredible structures, and see how they quite literally shaped an empire. Let's dive in.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating here, I think, is that these weren't just, stone structures piled up. They symbolize a kind of revolutionary foresight in defense. For centuries, sea power in this region, it was dominated by established, often foreign entities. Shivaji's vision was, well, groundbreaking because he saw the sea not just as a barrier to his land-based empire, but as an extension of it.
Yeah.
That's a concept most land-based rulers back then just, frankly, ignored.
That really is a powerful shift in perspective, isn't it? And to truly grasp that foresight, we have to start with Shivaji Maharaj's grand vision, this idea for a powerful Maratha navy. He clearly understood that for the Marathas to achieve, lasting dominance, they couldn't just rule the land. They had to command the waves of the Arabian Sea as well.
Precisely. And this vision was crucial because it directly challenged the existing naval might. We're talking the Portuguese, the Mughals, and the Siddis. All of them were the dominant maritime forces controlling the Konkan coast at that time. Which, it raises a really important question for any rising power, right? How do you build naval strength when you're essentially starting from scratch against such established sea powers? It required not just innovative thinking, but formidable strategic strongholds.
Right, strongholds. And speaking of strategic strongholds designed to challenge that kind of maritime dominance, Vijaydurg, it really stands out, is Shivaji Maharaj's earliest and arguably most significant initial naval success. Originally it was known as Jaigad Fort, located down in Jaigad, Maharashtra. He captured it back in 1653 CE from the Adil Shahi Sultanate of Vijaydurg.
Yeah, and the capture itself was, well, strategically brilliant. Sources tell us it was a kind of surprise attack, came in by land, quickly reinforced by sea. And Vijaydurg, at that point, it had pretty weak defenses apparently, so it made for a relatively short campaign. But it's the immediate transformation after the capture, turning it into the Marathas' very first major naval base, that truly highlights its significance. That's the key part.
That swift transformation, turning Vijaydurg around so quickly, it really is remarkable. It implies, a remarkable level of organizational efficiency for the time, doesn't it? And the people involved were absolutely key. Of course, Shivaji Maharaj himself leading the strategy, meticulously planning for this naval dominance idea, but he had incredible support. Figures like Naine Pandari, Konkan naval chief, really instrumental in planning those coastal route attacks. Then there was Shivaji Kek, a fort specialist who helped with repairs and, beefing up the fortifications. And of course, the tireless Maratha Moblas who actually fought to secure passage along those Konkan routes. But here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The true strategic brilliance of Vijaydurg wasn't just in capturing it, it was in that immediate transformation that followed. They didn't just take it, they re-engineered it fundamentally. They added these massive triple-layered walls on the sea-facing side, layers designed apparently to absorb the shock of cannon fire more effectively, than a single thick wall, dissipating the force, making breaches far more difficult.
Yeah.
Clever stuff.
Very clever. It shows an understanding of contemporary siege warfare adapted for the sea.
And they also constructed a secret underwater tunnel, get this, approximately 200 meters long. Could be used for escape, maybe resupplying the fort. What kind of strategic problems did a feature like that solve for a burgeoning navy?
Well, that underwater tunnel, it offered a vital lifeline, didn't it? Whether for, covert movement of personnel, maybe an emergency escape during a siege, or resupplying without being detected by enemy ships. It meant the fort wasn't just a strong point, but a more resilient, adaptable base. And critically, they built an early dry dock, or dockyard, for shipbuilding, anchoring Maratha vessels. That's a critical facility. It allowed them to repair and construct ships actually out of the water, which was a rare, pretty sophisticated capability for a nascent navy in that era.
That's a huge advantage.
Huge. And this fort then became the official headquarters for the Maratha Navy under the, legendary Sakal Kanhoji Angri. He would become the Maratha Empire's really formidable naval commander, renowned for his innovative guerrilla tactics at sea. So Vijaydurg became his base of operations.
So Vijaydurg showed their skill in adapting an existing structure, taking something and making it theirs, making it better. But if Vijaydurg was about that rapid transformation, then Sindhudurg, that was about pure, unadulterated vision, built entirely from Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's own blueprint. This fortress, located in Malvan, also in Maharashtra, was constructed between 1664 and 1667 CE. It took about 3 years. And its name, Sindhudurg, literally means sea fort. Simple as that.
And its main purpose was crystal clear: serve as an impregnable Maratha naval base, and crucially, guard the coastline from those ever-present threats of Mughals in the cities. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really demonstrates Shivaji's long-term, proactive vision for defense, not just reacting to threats, but building permanent deterrence for generations.
The sheer scale of its construction is, well, it's astonishing when you read about it. Shivaji Maharaj personally chose the site after surveying the Malvan coast himself. Choosing a site personally like that, it suggests an incredible depth of understanding of naval strategy, doesn't it? What factors would Shivaji have been looking for in that location, you think, to deem it perfect?
Oh, definitely. He would have been looking for natural defensive advantages, like a rocky island, maybe far enough from the mainland to be difficult to assault by land, but close enough to launch and support naval operations effectively. Deep waters nearby for larger ships, but maybe also hidden coves or shallower areas for smaller, faster vessels. Tactical flexibility.
Makes sense.
And the chief architect was Shivaji Indulkar. Now, he also designed the famous Jaigad Fort, which indicates, consistency of architectural brilliance across Shivaji's projects. What's even more impressive, maybe, is that they transported laterite stones from over 200 kilometers away. And it took over 100 architects and, get this, 4,000 workers to complete this massive undertaking.
Wow.
Imagine the logistics. Moving all that material with 17th century technology, kind of mind-boggling.
It really is a testament to engineering and just sheer human effort. And just like with Vijaydurg, the scale of Sindhudurg's construction highlighted the, indispensable role of dedicated teams and skilled individuals. Beyond Shivaji Maharaj as the master planner and designer, you had Shivaji Indulkar, the chief architect, actually executing that vision on the ground. And remember Minayak Bandari from Vijaydurg, he pops up again. He was a key naval advisor and commander for Konkan sea defense during Sindhudurg's construction too. Shows that vital continuity of expertise, right?
Exactly. Consistency in personnel and strategy.
Plus, you had local Mavalas and fishermen playing a crucial role in the actual labor and transporting resources across what must have been difficult terrain and water.
And the unique features of Sindhudurg, they really underscore its strategic importance and innovative design. It boasts this immense 3-kilometer-long fort wall, specifically engineered to withstand powerful sea waves and direct naval attacks. Like Vijaydurg, it also apparently has a secret underwater entry for hidden access and escape. Another brilliant tactical detail, really. But perhaps most astonishingly, it has Shivaji Maharaj's own palm print preserved inside the fort wall.
That detail always gets me.
Right. Think about that for a moment. A single palm print, centuries later, still there. Just speaks volumes about the personal investment Shivaji had in this monumental project. It's incredibly human.
It really is. It brings the history right down to a personal level. What other unique aspects made Sindhudurg such an impregnable base?
Well, there's a Shivaji temple inside the fort, the only one of its kind apparently built after his death, which speaks to its immense cultural and, political significance later on. There was a dedicated naval watchtower, allowed them to continuously monitor Portuguese, city, and even British ships further out, providing early warnings, intelligence gathering, vital stuff. And it later became another critical command post for Kanhoji Angre, further cementing its role as a key naval headquarters alongside Vijaydurg. Imagine you're, a city captain trying to blockade the coast, and suddenly this behemoth of a fort starts rising from the sea, constantly watching you. That must have been intimidating.
Absolutely. So bringing these two incredible forts together then, what does this all mean for us today? We see two distinct yet complementary strategic blueprints, really. Vijaydurg, the captured fort, brilliantly transformed into the Marathas' very first major naval base, complete with that early dry dock. It showed their ability to rapidly adapt and innovate with existing structures, resourcefulness.
Exactly. And then Sindhudurg, the purpose-built, virtually impregnable fortress, a direct testament to Shivaji's architectural and strategic genius, built from the ground up for a specific long-term defensive purpose. Together, they weren't just isolated forts dotted along the coast. They were powerful symbols of Maratha naval strength and Shivaji Maharaj's incredible foresight in defending India's west coast. They directly challenged the established might of the Portuguese, the Mughals, the cities, and, critically, they established Maratha dominance at sea, at least for a significant period. They quite literally changed the tide of power in the region.
These forts truly were innovations that shifted the balance of power on the water. They proved, didn't they, that a land-based empire could become a formidable sea power with the right vision, strategic improvisation, and, well, monumental planning and effort.
It really makes you think, and perhaps this raises an important question for you, the listener, to consider. What stands out to you most about how these structures, Vijaydurg and Sindhudurg, exemplified strategic innovation? And maybe more broadly, the power of a visionary leader in shaping not just land-based empires, but sea-based ones too.
Okay, so when you think about historical forts, your mind probably goes straight to, epic sieges, right? Big battles, kings conquering places.
That's the usual picture, absolutely. Yeah. Swords and shields and sieges.
Exactly. But what if there was a fort that, well, completely flipped that script?
Ah, now you're talking.
Today we're doing a deep dive into Sindhudurg Fort. It's off the coast of Malvan in Maharashtra, and honestly, its story really challenges how we often think about power and empire.
It really does. And that's our mission today, isn't it? To unpack the really unique story behind Sindhudurg. We're looking past the usual war tales.
Right.
We want to focus on why it was built, the vision behind it, the leadership. It's a story about creation, really, not conquest.
And here's the kicker. The thing that makes it so different right from the get-go. Sindhudurg wasn't captured. No king was defeated, no existing fort taken over. Nope. This massive place was conceived and built literally from scratch by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj himself.
A personal project, in a way.
An audacious act of creation, not conquest. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
So this decision then to build something entirely new, this huge fort right out there in the sea, instead of just taking an existing one, what was the thinking there? It feels like a massive strategic move, maybe even a gamble.
Well, gamble might be the wrong word. It was incredibly calculated. Strategic genius, really. Shivaji Maharaj didn't just point at a map.
Okay.
He chose that specific spot near Malvan for very clear reasons. The main one, protecting the Konkan coast.
From who specifically?
From major sea threats, you had the Portuguese, the cities of Janjira, who were a real naval power, and of course, the Mughals. He saw a big vulnerability in his growing kingdom, the lack of sea control.
And decided to just build a solution.
Precisely. Create maritime power where it hadn't really existed for them before.
Okay, that makes sense for defense. But, building something that ambitious, were there other goals too? It feels like more than just stopping enemy ships.
Oh, definitely. It wasn't just a shield. This fort was meant to do several things. First, establish a proper Maratha naval base.
For building ships too.
Yes, shipbuilding, training, signaling a real shift. Maratha power wasn't just land-based anymore. Second, it was about control.
Control.
Controlling those vital coastal trade routes, the tax routes in the Konkan, securing the economy.
Oh, okay. Economic and military.
And third, perhaps just as important, it was a symbol. A massive, undeniable symbol of Swaraja power.
Swaraja meaning self-rule, independence.
Exactly. It physically showed Maratha independence right there on the coast. A clear message. We are sovereign here, on land and sea.
Wow. Okay, so how on earth, back in the 17th century, do you actually build something like that? In the sea, it sounds almost impossible.
It was an incredible undertaking, a huge feat of engineering and sheer willpower.
Who were the key people making it happen?
The chief architect was a man named Shivaji a brilliant guy. He actually also worked on Jaigad Fort, another major Maratha fort.
Oh, interesting connection.
And the timeline. Construction started around 1664 CE.
And finished.
Remarkably quickly, by 1667 CE, so about 3 years.
3 years. For a massive sea fort, that's incredible efficiency.
It really highlights the dedication, doesn't it? And the scale of the workforce needed.
Enormous.
Absolutely massive for the time. We're talking over 100 engineers, something like 4,000 workers daily, plus 200 skilled masons.
Just imagine that scene. The noise, the activity.
Right, and the materials. Mostly laterite stone,
Yeah.
lime, but here's a really interesting bit. They used molten lead in the foundations and walls.
Molten lead, why?
To bind the stones, yes, but primarily to make the walls incredibly strong. Almost impossible to break with the siege technology of that era. It was quite innovative.
Cutting-edge defense tech for the 1600s.
Yeah.
So this massive project, it sounds like it needed more than just engineers and workers. A real team effort.
Oh, absolutely. Collaboration was key. You had Mai Nayak Bandari. He was the chief of the Konkan Navy.
Okay, what was his role?
He managed the incredibly complex sea transport, getting materials out to the site safely, providing security for the construction zone. Crucial stuff.
And locals were involved too.
Hugely important. Local fishermen knew the waters, the currents. They helped massively with building the underwater foundations. and the Mavlas.
Shivaji's famous hill soldiers.
Yes, usually associated with land warfare, but they adapted. They were vital in supplying materials, food, providing labor. It was a real community effort, showing how much support there was for Shivaji's vision.
Okay, so here's something that feels like a bit of a puzzle. It's built for defense against powerful enemies. But you're saying it was built without any major battles happening during construction. How did they manage that? Surely the Swedes or Portuguese tried to stop it.
It is a bit paradoxical, isn't it? But the sources seem clear. No major war or invasion interfered with the build. It seems its sheer scale and the speed of construction acted as a deterrent.
So just the sight of it going up was enough?
Largely, yes. Remember those walls, 3 kilometers long, 30 feet high, reinforced with lead? Even partially built, it would have looked formidable.
Don't even try its message built of stone.
Exactly. Its presence was a powerful defense in itself. Any enemy seeing that rising from the sea would think twice about a direct assault.
Okay, so construction finishes around 1667. How did Sindhudurg actually function then? Did it live up to that grand vision?
It absolutely did. It immediately became the primary dockyard and training center for the Maratha Navy. It cemented their naval power.
And those walls held up. The lead reinforcement worked.
Apparently so. They gained a reputation for being virtually impenetrable. But there's more than just the walls.
Oh, like what?
Well, think about strategic depth. There are reports, even legends perhaps, of secret underwater tunnels.
Underwater tunnels, seriously. For escape.
Escape, yes, or maybe covert communication, supply lines. It shows incredible foresight in the design. Layers of defense and resilience, you know.
Amazing. What else stands out today?
You still see the watchtowers, the placements for cannons, clearly designed for monitoring sea traffic. But culturally, it's also unique.
Yeah.
It has the only temple in India dedicated to Shivaji Maharaj himself, with an idol of him, built after his death, of course, as a tribute.
Wow, the only one.
And perhaps the most direct link. His actual palm print and footprints are preserved there.
Wait, really? You can still see them?
Yes, preserved within the fort walls. A very tangible connection to the man who built it. It's quite powerful.
That's incredible. So bringing this all together then, when we look at Sindhudurg, what's the big takeaway? It's clearly not just another dot on the historical map.
Not at all. It forces us to rethink what constitutes power and legacy. It's a testament to vision, to strategic foresight, more than just military might.
Building versus taking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sindhudurg was Shivaji Maharaj making a bold statement. He didn't just conquer a coastal fort, he created one in the most challenging environment, the sea itself.
Proving Maratha capability wasn't just confined to land.
Precisely. It showed they were a force to be reckoned with on water, too. A truly visionary step.
So it really does challenge that standard narrative. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Consider how sometimes building something entirely new from the ground up can be a far greater demonstration of power and foresight than simply taking what already exists.
You know, when you think about history's most important places, it's not always the sites of the biggest, loudest battles, is it?
Not at all. Sometimes their real significance is quieter, more about steady control, foresight, maybe sheer logistical smarts.
Exactly. And today, we're taking a deep dive into just such a place, Jaigad Fort.
Ah, Jaigad. Right there in the Ratnagiri district of Maharashtra.
Yeah, perched, about 200 feet above sea level, right at the mouth of the Shastri River. A proper sea fort.
Definitely. Originally built, the records suggest either the Bahmani or the Adil Shahi dynasty.
So our mission today is really to unpack why this fort, which interestingly didn't see a huge famous battle, was still so absolutely vital.
Especially within the Maratha Empire under Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj.
Right. We want to explore how it was captured, what changes were made, and, why it mattered so much then and maybe even now.
Well, the capture itself is fascinating. Around 1661 CE, Shivaji Maharaj took it, but it wasn't like defeating a specific king in single combat.
Oh, so who was it taken from then?
It was under the broader control of the Adil Shahi Sultanate of Vijaydurg. So think a local Adil Shahi governor or commander was managing it.
Ah, I see. So no dramatic showdown with a named Raja on the ramparts.
Exactly. Which is quite different from the picture we often get.
That really is interesting because history often highlights those big clashes. So does this suggest maybe a different kind of warfare, or was Jaigad just an exception for Shivaji Maharaj?
That's a great question. It does challenge that standard battle narrative, doesn't it? You'd expect maybe a long siege.
Weeks? Months even.
Right, but the campaign for Jaigad, very short, likely just weeks. which strongly suggests, well, no massive drawn-out fight.
So what was the strategy then? How did it fall so quickly?
It seems to have involved rapid movement, surprise,
Yeah.
definitely leveraging local support, which was crucial.
The locals knew the area, the paths.
Exactly. And using sea access strategically. Resistance was probably minimal. It might have even been something like a negotiated surrender by the garrison.
A diplomatic solution, perhaps? Or just seeing the writing on the wall?
Could be either. The key outcome was the fort was in Maratha hands by early 1661. Less Hollywood battle, more strategic chess move.
Calculated, quiet, effective, like you said, a chess game.
Pretty much. Checkmate without a big noisy clash.
Okay, so a masterclass in quiet efficiency. But even the smartest plans need people to make them happen, right? Who are the key players in this quiet takeover and the transformation afterwards?
Absolutely. Shivaji Maharaj was the visionary, the architect of the whole Konkan defense plan, but he had a core team.
Right, it's never just one person.
Definitely not. Mai Nayak Bandari, for instance, commander of the Konkan Navy. His role seems critical, especially with a potential sea blockade.
A sea blockade. So cutting off supplies or reinforcements from the sea.
Precisely. It weakens the fort considerably without a direct assault. Kind of like starving it out strategically.
A surgical approach, not a sledgehammer. Makes sense. Who else was key?
Then you have Shivaji Kank. He seems instrumental not just during the capture, but really important afterwards. Securing the fort, reinforcing it, getting it ready for its new role.
The consolidation phase, basically, making sure the gain was permanent.
Exactly. And we absolutely have to mention the Konkan Maval as the local Maratha warriors.
Boots on the ground?
Absolutely essential. Their local knowledge, their support for the Maratha cause, their intelligence gathering, invaluable for any operation in that terrain.
So once the fort was secured, thanks to this team, what was Shivaji Maharaj's vision for it? What did he do with Jaigad? What changed?
This is where his strategic genius really shines, I think. He didn't just occupy it, he transformed it.
How so?
Well, first, fortifications. He significantly beefed up the outer walls and bastions, especially those facing the sea, making it much tougher against any naval threat.
They're strengthening the defenses, standoff practice, maybe?
Yes, but the purpose shifted too. It wasn't just a defensive structure anymore. It became a crucial naval watchpost, specifically tasked with monitoring foreign ships.
Foreign ships, like the Portuguese or the Mughals.
Exactly. The Portuguese, the Sidis, even European traders, and potentially Mughal vessels.
Yeah.
It became an eye on the sea.
Wow. Okay, so less a passive wall, more an active surveillance point, like a 17th century coastal radar.
That's a great analogy, actually. And it wasn't just about watching ships. The fort commanded the Shastri River and Jaigad Creek.
Which means controlling movement inland.
And controlling trade. Regulating commerce, protecting Maratha interests. It added an economic dimension to its military role.
Right, power comes from trade roads, too.
Definitely. And to make it function, he established a permanent garrison, a small army unit, and made sure it had adequate food storage. Self-sufficiency was key.
So it could operate independently if needed.
Precisely. And interestingly, existing temples inside were maintained. He respected the existing structures, but also added some smaller Maratha ones.
So a blend of continuity and clear Maratha presence. Cultural assertion alongside military strategy.
Well put. It showed respect, but also marked the shift in power.
Okay, so we have this quiet capture, a dedicated team, significant upgrades turning it into a watchpost controlling trade. How did all these pieces make Jaigad this unsung strategic hero? What's the bigger picture?
Right, connecting the dots. Jaigad became indispensable for Konkan coastal defense. It was a frontline guardian against raids, particularly from the Portuguese in the city, who were constant thorns in the Maratha side along that coast.
A shield for the coastline.
Yes, but also a vital link. Think of it as a key node in a network. It helped connect other major forts like Vijaydurg, Sindhudurg with the inland capital, Rajgad.
Ensuring supply lines were secure. That's crucial for any large territory.
Absolutely critical. Smooth supply lines, communication. It held that network together. Its position gave constant intelligence on sea movements, Mughals, Europeans, everyone.
Constant surveillance.
Yeah. And it also functioned as a naval base, a smaller one perhaps, but significant, supporting the Maratha Navy, first under Shivaji Maharaj himself, and later famously under Kanhoji Angre.
Kanhoji Angre, the Maratha naval legend. So Jaigad supported his operations too.
It was part of that vital infrastructure. So, you see, its real power wasn't from one big bloody battle. It was from this consistent, quiet control, over sea lanes, over trade, over defense intelligence.
It became a linchpin.
Exactly. A critical linchpin in the whole Maratha strategy for dominating that western coastline.
So let's wrap this up. Jaigad Fort. Maybe not famous for a massive battle you'd read about in every school book, but strategically invaluable.
Absolutely. A crucial link between land and sea, letting the Marathas really assert control over the coast, building power from the sea inwards, in a way.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? When you consider how pivotal a place like Jaigad was, despite its, quiet history, it does raise a question, what other seemingly less dramatic historical moments, or maybe less famous locations, might actually hold the keys to understanding really profound shifts in power and influence, if only we take the time to do a deep dive into their story.
Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a fortress, right? But not perched up on some mountain. Instead, it's rising directly from the churning waves of the Arabian Sea, a true golden fort. Today, our deep dive takes us to Suvarnadurg, a legendary Maratha naval powerhouse. This isn't just any old structure, it's a formidable sea fort. It's located on an island in Dapoli Taluka, Ratnagiri district, Maharashtra.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here is that Suvarnadurg was far more than just, a defensive wall against the sea. Its unique position made it a really crucial naval base, sort of a strategic anchor that protected the Konkan coast, protected it from significant foreign powers of the era, particularly the Portuguese, the formidable cities, and the mighty Mughals. It was a linchpin.
A real linchpin. And that's precisely what we're here to uncover. Our mission today is to delve into the surprising story of its initial capture, and also the remarkable transformation it underwent, and how this single fort didn't just stand strong, but actually became the foundational pillar for what was, well, at the time, India's strongest indigenous navy. We're going to try and unearth the crucial insights about how strategic vision and naval power converged in this incredible place. Okay, so before it became this Maratha naval bastion, Suvarnadurg wasn't always under Maratha control, was it? Our sources seem to indicate it started elsewhere.
That's absolutely right. Suvarnadurg was initially under the control of the Adilshahi Sultanate of Vijaydurg. It was managed by a local Adilshahi commander. It was Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who, recognizing its immense strategic value for his burgeoning empire, orchestrated its capture. That was around 1660 CE. His goal was pretty clear: solidify Maratha dominance along that vital western coastline.
Right, and capturing a sea fortress. That must have been an immense undertaking. Was this a quick seize, or did Shivaji and his forces face a really formidable challenge in taking Suvarnadurg? Because the sources kind of hint at a significant campaign, not just an easy walkover.
Oh, it was certainly a strategic challenge, definitely not a walk in the park. The fort was well guarded due to its immense coastal importance. It offered moderate but, determined resistance. The campaign itself was relatively short but decisive. It unfolded over maybe days or weeks in 1660 CE. The key element was a surprise sea attack, which was masterfully executed by leveraging the expertise of the Konkan naval forces. I mean, just imagine the coordination needed to launch an assault like that from the waves.
Yeah, that coordination sounds like the real story here. This wasn't just a solo effort by Shivaji himself, was it? Who are the key players, the ones who made this audacious capture a reality?
No, it was definitely a brilliant collective effort. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj himself, of course, he was the strategic mastermind behind this whole coastal conquest. But on the ground, or maybe more accurately, on the water, you had Mai Nayak Bandari. He was one of Shivaji's most trusted and experienced Konkan Navy commanders. He led the actual sea attack and the blockade. He essentially cut off the fort from any outside support or escape routes. Very critical. Then Yasaji Khan played a significant role in managing the fort right after its capture, making sure the Maratha hold was secured. And of course, we can't forget the brave Konkan Mavalas, the elite warriors who launched the daring assault from their boats.
So once this critical fort was actually in Maratha hands, I imagine the immediate priority shifted, not just holding it, but truly transforming it.
Yep.
What kind of changes did Shivaji implement? How did they make Suvarnadurg the naval bastion it became?
The changes were, well, they were absolutely monumental, and they speak volumes about Shivaji's long-term vision. The first step was significant fort repair and enhancement. The walls and bastions were dramatically strengthened to withstand fierce sea attacks. But then they went beyond just mere defense. Suvarnadurg was rapidly developed into a major naval post, became a hub for shipbuilding and anchorage. And what's truly astonishing, especially for the 17th century, is that they constructed a proper dry dock.
A dry dock? Really?
Yes, a facility essential for building and repairing Maratha ships right there, within the fort's protection.
Wow.
And for added security, they even established cleverly hidden secret passages. You couldn't see them from the sea. This wasn't just like an upgrade, it was a complete strategic overhaul.
A dry dock in the 17th century. That's genuinely remarkable.
Yeah.
What does having that kind of advanced naval infrastructure tell us about Shivaji's long-term vision, beyond just immediate defense? Was this level of naval engineering common elsewhere in India then?
It truly set them apart. I mean, while some European powers had dry docks, for an indigenous force in India to establish one so strategically placed, well, it spoke volumes about their commitment to independent naval power. It meant they weren't just reacting to threats, they were proactively building a sustainable naval capability, both offensive and defensive.
Right.
It demonstrated a really profound understanding that controlling the seas was paramount for regional power and trade. This kind of investment showed they were serious about projecting power and ensuring self-sufficiency.
And what was its long-term strategic role then? Once these profound changes were implemented, how did Suvarnadurg fit into the grander Maratha design?
Suvarnadurg became absolutely vital for checking the advances of all major foreign naval powers, the Portuguese, the cities of Janjira, even the emerging British East India Company. It exerted immense control over key trade and sea lanes on the Konkan route, made it indispensable for the entire region's economy and security. It also served as a critical node in a sort of comprehensive naval defense network. It supported and linked up with other crucial Maratha forts like Jaigad, Vijaydurg, and Sindhudurg. This was a really sophisticated sea fort strategy. And later it became the main naval headquarters for Sarkar Kanhoji Angre, a legendary Maratha admiral. That really cemented its place in history as a heart of Maratha naval might.
So, okay, what does this all mean for us? Looking back, we've explored how Suvarnadurg, originally under the Adilshahi Sultanate of Bijapur, was strategically captured by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. This is a short but decisive sea campaign around 1660 CE, and it featured key figures like Mai Nayak Bandari and the Konkan Mavalas.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, the changes made after its capture were, frankly, monumental. The strengthening of walls and bastions, the revolutionary construction of that dry dock for shipbuilding and repairs, establishing secret passages, and its evolution into a major naval post. All these steps allowed Suvarnadurg to become the main naval headquarters for Sarkar Kanhoji Angre, controlling key trade and sea lanes on the Konkan route, linking with other crucial forts like Jaigad, Vijaydurg, and Sindhudurg. It all ties together.
Ultimately, Suvarnadurg became more than just a fort. It truly became a symbol of Maratha naval might, crucial for securing the Konkan coast and really laying the foundation for India's strongest indigenous navy of that era. It's a testament to incredible foresight and strategic execution.
You know, this raises an important question for today, perhaps. In an age where digital information and global resources are so interconnected, what contemporary lessons can we maybe draw from how a single strategically enhanced asset like Suvarnadurg could exert such immense control, facilitate innovation like that dry dock, and really shape the destiny of an entire region?
That's definitely something to mull over as you go about your day. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We sift through, well, stacks of information, really, and pull out the most essential, maybe surprising bits for you. Today, we're zoning in on Tikona Fort. Now, picture this. A seemingly small, kind of triangular sentinel. It's in the Malvan region of Maharashtra, India. But, and this is the key thing, don't let that size fool you. It's strategic importance, way bigger than it looks. Okay, let's unpack this one.
Yeah, what's really fascinating here, I think, is how we're going to uncover these, well, surprising facts and connections. They basically lift Tikona Fort from just being a spot on a map to a foundational piece, a cornerstone even, of what became a burgeoning empire. You'll get a much deeper sense, not just of what went down, but why it was so crucial. You know, how it connects to the bigger picture of those early conquests.
All right, so let's get grounded with this triangular sentinel. Tikona Fort, it's also known as Vitangad. Location-wise, it's near Kamshet, right in the Malvan region, Pune district, Maharashtra. Stands pretty tall, actually, around 3,500 feet. And the name, Tikona, well, that comes directly from its shape. It's got this very distinct triangular, almost pyramid-like look. Tikona means triangular in Marathi.
Yeah.
Pretty unique.
And that Masal region itself, that location is so important historically. You've got these rugged hills, the valleys in the Western Ghats. It was always a critical area for control and for defense. The terrain itself is challenging, right? So it offered huge strategic advantages to whoever could actually master it, which meant controlling forts like Tikona was absolutely essential if you wanted regional dominance, essential for projecting power too.
Okay, now, here's where it gets, I think, really interesting. Before Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, around, say, 1657 CE, Tikona Fort wasn't his. It had been controlled by the Nizam Shahi of Ahmadnagar first, and then, for a short time, the Mughals had it. So you'd think, given how important you just said it was, there'd be this massive bloody fight for it. But, how did Shivaji Maharaj actually take it? What do the sources say?
Well, that's the surprising part, isn't it? The sources are pretty clear. No major war recorded.
Mm-hmm.
It seems it was seized, likely as part of a wider campaign he was running in the Maval region.
Ah, so not an isolated attack.
Exactly. It was part of a bigger coordinated push.
Yeah.
Involved other key forts nearby like Tung, Vijaydurg, Lohagad. And this relatively quick sort of non-violent capture,
Yeah.
it really tells you something, doesn't it? It shows Shivaji's early strategic thinking.
So,
Well, instead of getting bogged down in these costly sieges, draining manpower and resources, he seems to have prioritized intelligence, local help, and just perfect timing. It wasn't just a clever tactic for one fort. It feels like a foundational principle. Build power without unnecessary bloodshed. Preserve your forces for the bigger fights later on. It's kind of like soft power tactics, way before we called it that. A real masterclass.
that is fascinating. So, low resistance, strategic takeover. It points to a different kind of conquest. But who else was involved? It couldn't have just been Shivaji Maharaj acting alone, could it? Who were the key players enabling this?
No, absolutely not alone. And that collaborative element, that's really key to his early wins. The sources point to, first, the Maval Dejmukhs. These were the powerful local chiefs in the area.
Okay.
They helped Shivaji out significantly. Provided troops, yes, but maybe even more importantly, they gave him invaluable knowledge of the terrain. They knew all the paths, the shortcuts, the hidden spots.
Local intel. Crucial.
Crucial. And then you had the Mavalas. These were the skilled hill warriors native to the region. They were the ones who actually did the legwork, occupying the fort, using their expertise in hill climbing and, guerrilla tactics. Their specific skills were just indispensable for this kind of operation.
Right, so a combination of local leadership and specialized forces. Makes sense. So, he takes the fort strategically. What's next? What did Shivaji do with Tikona after capturing it? He didn't just plant a flag and leave, I assume.
Definitely not. His actions afterwards show how he planned to integrate it. The sources mention immediate improvements. Things like repaired walls, strengthened gates and watch points, basic but essential fortification work.
Standard stuff, yeah.
Standard but important.
Yeah.
Also, there's mention of the Trimbakeshwar Mahadev temple inside the fort. Seems he either built or maintained it. Shows a respect for local institutions, maybe helps integrate his rule.
Good point.
And then, perhaps more subtly, but really strategically vital, he enhanced narrow passages and escape routes.
Ah, like secret ways in or out, or defensive choke points.
Exactly, creating tactical advantages within the fort structure itself. And by setting up a small garrison and making sure the lookout towers for defense were manned properly, Tikona was basically transformed. It became a vital local defense point in the Maval Valley fort chain, not just a standalone castle.
Okay, so that answers the next question then, really. It wasn't just about holding Tikona itself. How exactly did these changes, these modifications, weave it into that bigger defense network you mentioned? What was its ultimate strategic job?
Well, think about its position. From Tikona, you get these incredible views. It essentially acted as a crucial surveillance post. They could keep an eye on a lake, the nearby Tung Fort, and that whole important Vijaydurg Lohagad area. Amazing line of sight.
Like an intelligence hub.
Pretty much, yeah, an intelligence and observation hub. And within that connected fort network, its role was critical. It supported communication between the Maval forts, vital for coordinating defense. Plus, geographically, it guarded hill paths towards the Konkan region, a really key route.
The choke
A
point.
critical choke point, exactly. Controlling movement between those two vital areas. So you put all that together, and it's really clear why Tikona, despite its size, was one of the key forts Shivaji relied on so early in his campaigns. It was instrumental in, laying the groundwork for Hindavi Swarajya, his vision of self-rule right there in the Western Ghats.
So, wrapping up this deep dive on Tikona Fort, it really is a powerful reminder, isn't it, that huge strategic value can hide in plain sight in seemingly small places. It's capture too. More about smart strategy, local alliances, than just overwhelming force. Sometimes the cleverest moves are the most effective.
That's absolutely right. The sources really back that up. Tikona Fort might look small, but its role in Shivaji Maharaj's early Mosul campaign was genuinely significant. It helped build that strong foundation for Hindabi Swarajya in the Western Ghats. It really shows how those initial, maybe modest-looking footholds could be utterly essential.
Yeah, think about that for a second. How often, maybe in history, maybe even today in business or politics or whatever, how often do we overlook the small things, those unassuming elements, those first strategic steps that turn out to be the absolute bedrock for something much, much bigger later on? Maybe next time you're looking at a challenge or starting something new, keep an eye out for those small but mighty factors. You might just be surprised at what you find.